How do I turn my random ideas into full Loser Island episodes? Well, it starts with a blank sheet of paper and a lot of questions I'm willing to answer. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so happy you clicked on this video. As the title says, today I'm gonna break down how I script Loser Island videos or just my videos in general for YouTube. So let's go to the backstory. I've been scripting videos since I've been, 19, 20 years old. So the past 4 or 5 years. And a lot of how I break down scripts or how I come up with scripts have changed throughout the years. From the very first script to, my most recent script video. This video won't be that long. I won't, bore you guys with all the details, unless you guys want a part 2, which is definitely possible. But today, I'm just gonna show you how I come up with my ideas and then how do I put my ideas into paper, So a lot of the scripts that I write start off on paper because I need to write it down, because I do write my scripts, my full version of the scripts on Google Drive. I can show you, full version of my scripts, and then I can show you guys like, what I wrote out, and then here's some changes I made. And then there's also things where like, when you get to the day of the shooting, you change on the day of the shooting. So I can show you guys like lines where I wanted someone to say this, but then maybe the actor wanted to write that or say that, or he's like, this doesn't make sense for this character to say that. So we just change it on the fly. So I could definitely do that for part 2, but just going back to the basics. When I specifically come up with scripts for Loser Island, I have to go back to the core message, brand, image of Loser Island, which is turning, making everybody feel like a loser can still become someone, or, the underdog story of like, being overlooked or being misused or something like that. I have to hit those core themes, or just have a message underneath the comedy, because, most of the videos, I should break down the videos I'm even scripting for. So for the most part, the videos I mainly post are, I would say, two different categories. We have the sketches, sketch comedies, and then we also have the challenge videos. I guess you could even put the street interviews, but those don't require a lot of scripting. Let's start off with the one that requires the least amount of work, is the challenge videos. So the challenge videos are just pure entertainment. When I or someone who works on the channel ever has a challenge video, there really isn't that much scripting that is involved, because you don't want to script challenge videos because then people are like, oh, it's fake, and I don't like doing fake stuff. So yeah, most of it's just live, on the go. What do you call it when actors just like go off the ad-lib? Yes, it's a lot of ad-libbing. So there's a lot of ad-libbing when it comes to scripts, because like I said before, I don't like scripting challenge videos. The parts that you really do need to script is your hooks, right? The first 30 seconds. And then you don't really have to script anything much after that. I would say it's just like right directions of the flow. When we're recording, we have to make sure we say, hit the subscribe button, like the video, comment, or like, you don't want this type of person to do this challenge at this specific way. For an example is for my 6-pack beer challenge, I didn't really script that video that much. I mean, that's a good video to talk about, but I feel like even better video is the worst survival kit. That video was completely freestyled, ad-libbed, no script was involved. The only thing I did script was the first 30 seconds. I knew that I wanted to make it obviously super lighthearted, super funny, and like just over the top ridiculous, but also with some sense of realism, because I like to have some type of realism in my comedy. But with that video, it was more just like go with the flow. Me and Ian were just like walking around finding random shit in our house or anywhere in the building. So I remember for that video, I told Ian, I'm like, whatever comes to your mind, just say. Like, I'm not gonna tell you what to do, because a lot of the times in challenge videos, I'm like, we want to have this type of energy, blah 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 blah. For the most part, me and him, everything you saw in there, completely freestyle. I didn't have a single line. Everything he said was off the dome. Same with here. So maybe that's why people didn't like it. That's why people did like it. It's because it's completely authentic. No scripting. Same with another challenge video off the rip is the milk video, the milk challenge, the taste testing challenge with the milk. With that video, I remember coming up with an idea of like, okay, I don't drink that much milk. I think it'd be funny to try to see if I could tell the difference between each milks. When I recorded that video, the script was find 12 different milks. I wrote the hook, whatever the hook, I don't remember the hook off the top of my head, but whatever the hook I used for that video was the hook that I wrote down for the video. And then I just told everybody, like, just try to be as funny as you can be. Don't worry about, you know, obviously like getting all of them right. Just try to focus on the comedic aspect of the video. And yeah, that's all it was. So everything was just freestyle. That's another video where we just freestyle. When I tell people what to do in challenge videos, it just comes off as more fake and inauthentic, and the audience can pick up on that, especially when you're a smaller channel. You want to build trust with your audience and you want to have authenticity. People like that. So the second type of videos that I also post is the street interviews. Now these videos, obviously there's not that much scripting in those. Now some have been scripted. I rarely ever script street interviews. And if they are scripted, they're so obvious that they're scripted that if you can't tell, you're kind of a dumbass. But no, I'm just kidding. I think I've only scripted 3 or 4 off the top of my head. The one where I did the Jason interview, okay, that one was kind of scripted because obviously it wasn't really Jason. Any friends that I have that were in a street interview, 9 times out of 10, it was probably scripted. And not scripted in the sense of like, I'm like, hey, you need to say this when I ask you that. It's more like you just point the conversation in a certain light. When I do street interviews, no one knows what I'm gonna ask them. So a lot of the times, if it's a scripted video, then they know what to say on camera before it's already recording. So that's what I mean by scripted, where it's like, I don't tell them what to say, but I already tell them the question so that way they can prepare for an answer. So whether it's politically correct or they want to be viral, like it's kind of already scripted. Because like for me, a good street interview is you just going up to someone randomly in public, you ask them a question that they had no idea that you were gonna ask them. They have to come up with an answer on the spot. Coming up with on the spot makes it more authentic, it makes it less cringy. You're saying a more authentic side of humans. When I, walk up to people and say, how big of a loser am I? No one's really expecting me to ask that question. Seeing people's reactions or whatever the question is, I just like getting authentic reactions. So when I come up with those type of questions, obviously, like I said before, I try to stay in the realm of comedy or Loser Island's core, message, which is underdog, overlooked, or just like someone who feels like a loser but wants to be in a higher place, whatever. It's like, I always try to think of those type of questions. So like that question came up to me when I saw a lot of videos before the looks maxing. This was a lot of videos on my For You page where it's just like, oh, rate me through 1 through 10. And I always thought those videos were so superficial because it's just like to give someone a rating of their attractiveness based on like, you met them one time. It's kind of ridiculous. A lot of people only need like one look at you to be like, okay, you're this type of attractiveness, but there's a lot of things that come into your, attractiveness, like personality, hygiene, all these things. So just like, oh, just based off what I see, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I wanted to come up with the opposite of that. How big of a loser do you think I am? Not because I could have gone ugly or, stupid, but I felt like loser hits different because it just like, I don't know, I felt like there's just something more emotional when you ask someone how big of a loser. And I felt like that's gonna strike a more of a nerve than, oh, how ugly or how stupid do you think I am on a scale of 1 through 10. So when I came up with loser, I felt like that was just gold. Because like, honestly, I've never seen anyone ask that on the street before. And obviously the channel's named Loser Island. So I'm like, okay, it makes sense, right? Any question I'm gonna ask random people, it's always gonna come back to like, how often has this question been asked? Does this fit the core demographic of my audience? And like, do I ultimately feel comfortable asking questions? One of the questions I hate seeing is like, oh, what's your body count? Like, I'm never gonna ask someone that really, because to me, that's just private information and it's just like too cringy for me to just ask a guy or girl like how many people you slept with. That's like, oh, who do you vote for? I'm not gonna put that on the internet. So it's just like, that's your own business. So that's how I script my Loser Island videos. I usually try to have 5 to 6 questions for that week. And when I go do the interviews, I try to get 8 interviews a day. People are like, oh, how often do you get rejected? Probably 1 out of 3, So it's probably 30% chance that and I completely get it. I don't care when someone's like, oh, I don't want to be in a video. I don't blame you. There's a lot of risk when a street interview wants to ask you a question. They could ask you that body count question, or they can just ask you something simple. But you never know. You don't want to be on the internet for the wrong thing, right? The Hawk Tuah girl, Haley Welch, whatever her name is, she never thought that interview would freaking blow her up. But next thing you know, she's got a podcast, she's got a freaking meme coin, and now she's getting raided by the FBI. No, I'm just kidding. But you get what I'm saying. Like, I only try to get like 5 to 6 to 8 in, a day. and I probably do it like twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. It depends, because I also have to have a cameraman. I'm not doing this with the tripod. So that's how I usually script the street interviews. Now, when it comes to sketches are by far the hardest videos I have to script, because there's so much preparation and details that comes into making a sketch video. I just want to say, if you made it this far, thank you so much. I really love you and appreciate you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, man. Just hit that like button if you think anything I've said has helped you, resonate with you, or just, you know, been informative. I really do appreciate that. It helps me a lot. So back to the video. So when it comes to sketches, this is the most difficult / most fun I have when it comes to content creation, because I've always been in love with sketches, man. You know, since I've watched YouTube, that's one of the earlier content I've consumed with sketches, going back to Smosh, Nigahiga. I mean, a lot of the greats, Shane Dawson. It's just like YouTube sketch comedy per se was really my niche. When it comes to sketches, what I always do, always do is I have a list of like just ideas. So for example, like I had, what if there was a serial killer, but the only way he gets to you is when you sit on the toilet? Like something like that, right? Where it's just like over the top ridiculousness, but like still somewhat serious because someone's dying. Those are like the type of ideas where like, okay, it's gotta be funny, obviously. I'm not writing dramas or any of that crap. But yeah, so like, is it funny? And then I just write down ideas. And then the ones that I resonate with the most / kind of doing well on the internet, meaning that like other people are searching up this topic or it's trending right now, let's go focus on that. Because not everything, you know, I think of or I get inspired from is relevant. And that's why videos flop, because it's like, especially with something in comedy, you can't just do what you want to do. You kind of have to do what everybody can get around with, including yourself, right? So then I move into phase 2, which is writing down the rough draft, which comes into the paper, right? So a lot of my videos with the sketches and some of even my rants, these are my rough drafts. So I use this to outline my scripts. So let me go through one of my ideas here. So this is a more recent video. I don't think this video is gonna even be out yet, but this is for one of my comedy sketch videos called King of the Losers. I don't know if it's gonna even be titled that, but this is what I was just coming up with the mind of. So the idea was just King of the Losers, right? That was literally all I wrote down, was just King of the Losers. Because for me, I got inspired by the song Lord of the Sad and Lonely by Kid Cudi. And I think it's on his earlier albums. And I'm like, just the title alone, I mean, I really love the song too, but the title is so powerful. Where like you have your lords and you have your kings. So I'm like, okay, so you have a Lord of the Sad and Lonely. Like, what would that actually look like? So I just took my spin of it, added Loser Island. I'm like, okay, King of the Losers. What if we had not an actual king, but someone who's just like such of a loser where he just trumps all the other losers. So he's the king of the losers, because like no one else can match that loser energy, right? I just had the idea, right? And then I fleshed it out. I'm like, okay, who's this king of the loser? What's his backstory? Why is he the king of the losers? Was he born this way? Was he made this way? Is this just the circumstance of his environment? Like, you know, it's like all these questions you have to consider when it comes to making a sketch. So I based the character off of someone I don't know personally, but I've seen on the internet. And then I just added a bunch of characteristics of losers that I know in real life and also what's portrayed on the internet. And I just combined all that into putting into the main protagonist. So I'm like, okay, the king of the losers, base it off this person, but then also it's just a little bit of combination of a lot of other things that makes him the king of the losers. And then you have to flesh on the backstory, like, okay, you know, where is he from? Why is he like this? Who is his family? Who's his friends? Who's the antagonist, if there is one? Who's, you know, who's in his way, or who's trying to help him, right? All this you have to think of, because it's the king of the losers for me. And then after I come up with my characters, that's when you come up with a story. Now, some people would disagree with me, and it really depends on the story, because some of the stories I already know how it's gonna end before I even start writing. That's just how my brain works. I already know where the story's gonna go. Now, some writers, I've talked to a couple writers, and one of the writers that I've talked to, who I really respect, he told me that when he comes up with the story, that he already writes the story with the ending in mind. That's great. You can definitely do that. I've done that with some of my newer videos, but honestly, I've never really done that until recently, because for me, stories need to take time. I don't wanna jump already knowing what the ending is. Sometimes I wanna think and let myself come up with multiple endings, or like I need to see how the story's going so the ending can make sense. Because I feel like if you already have an ending in mind, then you're gonna force the story to fit your ending. You know what I'm saying? It works, sometimes it doesn't, but for me, I just like going with the flow and seeing how the story evolves, and that's how I come up with my ending. So the only con of doing that way is that sometimes it takes you forever to come up with the story. Sometimes it might take you, 3 weeks, a month to finish a story. Sometimes it took me, 2 months. I've forgot a story and I had to come back to it because I get writer's block, because you're like, man, I don't want to think. You're thinking so hard, or you're trying to force stuff, and you're like, man, this isn't good. I got to delete it. And you're like, all right, I'll just come back to it. Like, you're putting so much pressure on yourself to finish the story but you can't. Good stories take time. And not even just stories, but just any good work takes time. It's not gonna be 3 days, although it can be, right? So some of my scripts that took like the least amount of time to write, sketches wise, it was the bathroom video. It was the video where like, I had Shane peeing, sitting down. That video was so simple to write, I remember, because it's just like the whole video, I don't want to say is dumb, but like there really isn't that much thought behind it. That's why it's not that long of a video. But like that was probably the shortest amount of time it ever took me to write a story, because again, there really wasn't that much complexity behind it. I mean, it's kind of funny. I kind of think it's funny, but like it's nothing where like, oh man, that really had a message, or that really spoke to me. So like that was more of like a story where it's just like, I'm just trying to get a story out, try to upload a video, and blah, 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 blah. And I had actors and all that jazz. But back to what I was saying though. Sometimes you want to have the story in mind, or you just go with the flow of the story. And another thing when it comes to writing a script, whenever I come up with these videos, I'm asking myself, is this Loser Island related, or is this just something personal project, right? Because I do have my own personal projects. Like I've written scripts for TV pilots. I've written sort of a script for a movie, So I've had my own personal projects where like, okay, this isn't gonna be on YouTube or Loser Island, but maybe this is something I can do when I have a bigger budget. And another thing I also do, this is the last point I'm gonna end it on, what's the message of the script? Now, not like I said before, I've written videos where there's really not a message, like the bathroom stall video. I always try to, have some type of social commentary on the video, whether it's like, political, social, or global, whatever type of message. I'm trying to have an underlying message. For an example is, I don't know if this is the most recent one, but the one that I think of that comes to my head instantly is the AI video that I did with Ian. The message of that video was, what happens when we let AI take over our life? Because that's where we're heading towards, is like a more futuristic AI. It's supposed to make our life easier, but it's like, honestly, it's kind of making it harder. It's harder to get jobs, taking away people's jobs. I mean, it does make some things easier, but like, is us relying on technology too much making us lazy / hurting our lives even more? Because yeah, it might make our lives easier in the moment, but honestly, taking that even the smallest things away, it's like taking that away, honestly, slowly makes you less human in a way, and it just makes you just this more, I don't know, basic human being, where like you're just existing. You're not really doing anything because you have AI to do that for you, and do that for you, do that for you. Not every message has to be that complex. It can be very simple, like the bathroom one, where it's just like, it's stupid to sit down while you pee, unless you're a girl. But you know what I'm saying? Not every script or not every video or idea has to be that very complex. It can be something simple, but to me, I like having videos with a message behind it. So that's how I come up with my scripts for the most part. Now, like I said, if you guys want a part 2, let's get this to, I don't know, 10 likes. I'll give you a part 2. I'll show you my actual scripts, the ones that I've actually written out. I'm not claiming to be a professional script writer. I definitely wouldn't say I have no experience. I definitely do have experience writing scripts, multiple scripts. Like I said, I've written pilots before. If you enjoyed the video so far, watch some of my other videos. If not, check out my Loser Island channel, where you'll see the more funny, creative side of me. And like I said, thank you guys again for watching this video. I really do appreciate you guys. I really do love you guys. Let's try to get to 200 subscribers. We're on the way to greatness. And peace.